Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good whatever time of day it may be for you. I am the Layback Gamer, and we're back with some more Elder Scrolls okay, jeez. Elder Scrolls Legends. Okay, got that whole tongue twister cleared out. Now today's a bit of a different day. I'm probably only going to be doing maybe one ladder game, and the reason for that is we got some balances coming in the future. So, without further ado, I'd like to start discussing with them. I'm going to start with the first one on the page, which happens to be none other than Drain Vitality. Now, as we can all see the effect here, level 1 will give Drain Vitality, given an enemy creature -1/-1. Level 2 gives an enemy creature -2/-2, and level 3 gives all enemy creatures -2/-2. This card is getting nerfed so that the first two levels still keep their effects. However, the third level, it changes just slightly. Instead of giving all enemy creatures -2/-2, it gives all enemy creatures in a lane -2/-2. Their reasoning for this, I'm just reading this right off the Steam page. While we recognize that Drain Vitality is a critical defensive component to many slower decks using agility and requires a substantial amount of deck space to reach maximum consistency, which includes a lot of the other cards that interacts with Drain Vitality, or I mean just Shout cards in general. Excuse me. We find its current design was both easy to weave into a turn and hard to play around, which, if you've seen me in a video, yes, sometimes I got it in the back of my mind, or I'm saying, okay, I'm expecting a Drain Vitality to come out sometime soon, and I know it's coming. And I know this is one of the most annoying cards to see, especially in a situation where I have lethal. However, if I can't score it that turn, I am almost guaranteed to die the next turn. And seeing a level 3 Drain Vitality get plopped down is a little soul crushing. It literally drains my soul, which kind of fitting for the card. So what they're taking away is a whole board removal and changing it to half. I think this is a pretty okay change. I mean, I do find we have had it at level give all enemies -2/-2, which against an aggro deck, this is a perfect card for it. And it's a great tool. I still think it's going to be a good tool, just not as effective. This card, to play around this card, it's going to promote more, I guess, more strategic play, because now you got to think, okay, so it only targets one lane, so I got to kind of even out my lane so that regardless of which lane my opponent picks to use a third copy of Drain Vitality on, he or she will, when they choose the lane, they're leaving the other lane. And so say we have, I don't know, equal power in both lanes, split them up. So say we got a total of, I'm going to say 9-6 in two lanes. Actually, let's go 9-7. 9 attack, 7 power, and both lanes have this split amongst 2 cards, and each card one card in each lane has a special effect that can happen. Now, instead of your opponent being going, okay, Drain Vitality, easy. Drain Vitality, very easy, clear the board, or Drain Vitality, board removal, or not board, finish off, or Leaf Lurker. Now they have to pick a side and go, okay, which side do I need to get rid of? Do I get rid of side A, his side left, or do I get rid of side right? And that sounds a little weird saying it, but it makes this card have to be played a little smarter. It's easier for certain decks to play around this. For example, some of the ones I play, in the past, I've tried to even out that power. Now it will work against Drain Vitality, but in the past it was, I'm going to even out the power so I get around guards. Guards are very annoying can be very annoying to get around. So splitting the power makes a big difference. And like I said, I'm okay with this nerf. I think this is a fair nerf. It's probably one of the more fairer ones, unlike a couple of the other ones I've seen on the as well. I should say, I think they're all fair. It's just the ones that this is one nerf that I'm okay with. I've played with this card a few times, and you know I'm okay with taking a nerf on this guy. So it's an okay card to have nerf. Just gonna roll down the screen here, and next up we have Ulfric's Uprising. So it is getting a Magicka increase cost from 6 to 7. And I can see why this is doing that. First off, with this was not the nerf I ideally I was thinking that this was going to get, because I think this should have targeted, you know, just the main races of Tamriel instead of beasts, say Dwemer or automatons, undead, etc., etc., etc. That's what I think. I think it would have been a cool concept, because it's an actual uprising by the human race. But anyways, the reason why they did this is because its power level has started to cause it to appear in control decks of other classes, as well as key function as a key component of the devastating Nyx Ox combo. So this is kind of another trickling down from that nerf. This change will allow the card to stay powerful value generating option for certain decks, while making it harder to use effectively when the player is pressed for your Magicka in a turn. And I agree with this. Recently I had a game where this was a pretty prominent card, and he only just had enough Magicka to play. He would have had to wait another turn. I'm not sure what that would have done for him, but my opponent's hand was just stacked in order to really get some good combos out with this one card. And I kind of agree with this one again. I personally do not play with the card. Last time I tried to play with it, it kind of crapped out. But you know, I think it's an okay nerf. Alright, moving on to, and this is now gonna now this is an interesting nerf that I agree with. Halahu, just a bit of spoiler, is the only class that's also getting a buff to a card, and you'll see soon. And it is a card I 100% agreed needed a buff, because it was way too easy to remove and not worth playing at all. So Haunted Manor is going up to 4 Magicka, and I don't really need to read the description to know why this is happening. Haunted Manor, when I've seen it on the field, is fair, and I've seen it in a few other videos, it's a very powerful support, very early, and it's very easy to trigger its condition. For example, in Strength class, which you have it in, you've got Raiding Party. You put 2 1/1 Nord Firebrands into your hand with charge. You play one, you play the other gets +2/+2, or +4/+4, or +6/+6, depending on how many Haunted Manors you have out there. This card's also pretty, in Willpower it's also pretty easy. I know I just only have it on this, but you could play one have something heal you up with Conjure Spirit out, and now you'll get a 4/4 familiar, or say Call of Valor. You have level 2, you'll get a 5/5 hero from that. Any other good examples here? Halahu Oathman. This procs from that. You play this, you play another card, and that triggers it off. Pack Wolf, summon a 3/3 young wolf in the other lane with 1 haunted. I'm only saying for 1, but realistically, yeah. You can even work with Reconstruction Engine. This card works with Reconstruction Engine in the right scenarios, which absolutely bonkers. Same with Almor Justiciar. You play an action, play a creature, then an action. And look at this guy gets buffed. You just summoned a 3/3 Thalmor Soldier, or 2 Moons anyways, I've gone on enough. A little too far, I admit, but I've gone on enough. Haunted Manor getting the extra Magicka increase is good. Originally, and I'm also reading this on the side. Originally, they were actually going to pick another card to receive a nerf, and that was Halahu Oathman. And then that's when they were going, well, that's actually harder to set up. You set this up. It's just a one card. You play 2 of the creatures and you're good, and it's easy to get to trigger it. And as said, it helps, and I've said, they said, Halahu Oathman really aided by Haunted Manor. So this makes it a little more, I'm going to say more balanced to play. I still want to build a deck with 2 copies of Haunted Manor. I don't think running 3 with it being at 4 is not worth it, but having 2 in the deck, I think that would be worth it. And it also, as the description says, it puts it a little more online with what the majority of classes support removal can access. One. So it might make Dismantle maybe a little bit more of an interesting idea to play with, because now that it costs 1 more, you may say run a copy of this in your deck. If Halahu ever gets played much more, I don't often see it on the ladder, but you never know. Never know. Here's a nerf that I'm sad to see, but at the same time, I'm not sure if it's going to affect anything. Hand of Dagoth is going from a 5/5 to a 5/4. Yes, while it is a staple in all Dagoth decks, who can really blame it? It's very powerful. You get Drain, you got Ward and Breakthrough. That's powerful. For 5 Magicka, that I knew this card was crazy. It was really powerful. I think this was on my top 10 most powerful cards of the set. And their reasoning is they find it a little too resilient against other mid-range decks, which I can agree with that. It is a very potent card and a little bit difficult to kill. I don't think this nerf matters at all. It still has Ward on it. They're not getting rid of any other. They're not getting rid of any other keywords. They're not increasing the magic cost. It's just a health downgrade. I don't think it's going to really matter that much, I'll be honest. I mean, the big thing for me, why I love playing this, is because it's got Ward. It can tank the first damage. I play it in strategic ways, and sometimes I'll even give this guy some armor. Now, with it being 1 less, it might make it a little bit easier to remove. There's Underground Vigilante, Lightning Bolt are the 2 I can think of at the moment. But there's a plethora of cards you could use to now remove 4 health. But again, Hand of Dagoth, I don't think it's going to change much. It's a pointless nerf. I think if you really wanted to nerf this, you'd take it down. I would say make it a 4/5. A 4/5 I think would make it a little more impactful. Would it kill the card? I don't know, but it would make it much more impactful. Then we got one that I think is just it may have, in this one, in my opinion, it may have just killed this card for me. Maybe not, but Telvoss Magister, ridiculously powerful. I think this is either it's in my either top 5 or it's the 3rd most powerful card. Well, it's not going to be that way after the nerf, because now all the stats are staying the same, even the Ward, but the description changes to, at the end of your turn, if Telvoss Magister has Ward, you gain a Ward. So I'll agree, it is incredibly powerful. I love playing this card against aggro decks because this shuts it down instantly. However, you're just opening up a route for aggro. All you have to do this card loses stealth. Granted, against this is more for the aggro deck. Against control decks, you're likely going to lose this card after it gains the ward. So it's done its job essentially after that point. So in a control v control or a control v ramp, everything's fine with it. Okay, nothing changes with that. It's when you are facing an aggro deck, All they have to do is just pop the ward on Tel'Vos Magister, and unless you have a backup ward generator, such as Ward Crafter, that's the end of your ward train. So I always saw this card as, while it was very useful in other control v control or control versus ramp matchups, I really think this card shined against control versus aggro, where this could effectively stop aggro dead in its tracks, and I loved it because of that. I've said it before, I am not a fan of aggro, and this might hurt it a bit. And I'm kind of reading the description, and I basically just went through this. It went through the effect of this. I don't believe that it's going to change whether or not people are going to attempt to remove it or silence it. Silencing for some decks is much easier than trying to break the ward, same with straight up removing it. This just sucks because it's now going to be a less powerful card to deal with aggro. I still think it has power elsewhere. It's going to lose a considerable amount of it versus aggro. I don't really agree with this nerf. Here's a card I never would have thought it would have gotten nerfed. Mudcrab Merchant. It's not a bad nerf per se, and quite frankly, I'm okay with this. This card kind of runs into something that Hearthstone ran into. It kind of touches base on what Hearthstone has gone through for a long time, and that's random. Except this card throws the twist that, yeah, everything's random, but you're now giving your opponent something, and yourself. You gain a creature, you gain and a card, but your opponent also gains a random card. Sometimes it could be a great random card that you gain, and you give your opponent a bad one. Sometimes you pick one out of situational need and give your opponent a really powerful card. And sometimes you accidentally give your opponent a card that they need in order to fit with their deck. So the nerf, by the way, is this is going from a 1/3 to a 1/2. It is a very powerful one-cost creature, and the stat line is very good. I agree with them that with an effect like that, it doesn't really deserve to be on a card like this. I think for a 1/3, it's got to be, something kind of generic. What would be fairly generic? Oh, it could be... I'm not sure what I would make it, actually. I would say a 1/3 would be a guard. I think we may have a card like that in here. Pardon me a second, this is a little... Oh, yeah, there we go. Well, this also has the Exalt, but you're paying extra, but this is what a 1/3 should be. 1/3 should be just 1/3, and with maybe guard, or I wouldn't say ward. Not lethal, definitely not, but kind of regen would be another good one to throw on that. Any other 1/3s that I could think of? Oh, Drain. Yeah, that's an okay one too. This is kind of what you would want to ideally. Maybe it might have like one other keyword, like I'd say Drain and Regen on a 1 mana might be okay. Because something like this is fairly easy to remove unless your opponent starts buffing it. Let's see here. Anything else? This is another one. Stalls your opponent for a turn. It's a pretty decent one. It's one of those more interesting ones. But you guys see what I'm getting at. This is another okay one. You have to actually damage your opponent in order to use that effect there. This is a good example of a pretty decent one mana 2/3. And then we're right back here. So I definitely agree that for its effect, the stats that's got here is a little much. So I agree with that nerf. And then finally, and 100% agree with this. I'm pretty sure. So first off, gonna build up a little bit of suspense. Gonna go to Houses of Morrowind, because this is, again, a House of Morrowind card. It's a legendary, and it's a card I don't have. Which, yes, just opened up the answer. It's not any of these guys, although I would love to see Jupe maybe buffed to a 1-2. I don't see that at all. It's not any of the strength. Not anything in here. Nothing here. Getting closer. Nothing here. Hello, Premium Gentleman Jim. Still love seeing you. Nothing here. So what is it here? Oh! You exist! Duke Vandam Dren. First time you play a card each turn, draw a random card from your deck with equal cost to your remaining magicka. For 5 mana, it is, the stats is just abysmal. So this thing can't survive anything. You play this, I've played it because I got it randomly. That was the only time I've ever played this. Actually, I think that's the only time I ever seen this card played, is when I got it off of a random. And I was curious to try it out. And don't get me wrong, I made it work. I made it work for either 1 or 2 turns. But it was a random. In a Dagoth deck. It was anyways, I digress. It's getting buffed to a 4/5, which I think is a much needed buff. Having that, it would now go on par with what I think should have been the appropriate nerf to Hand of Dagoth. Hand of Dagoth, I think, should have been a 4/5 if they were going to nerf it, not a 5/4. Duke Vandam Dren, very easy to remove. I think my opponent got rid of it with a lightning bolt. Very easy, just went zap, you're dead. Either that or I don't know, he did some sort of removal. Their reasoning for this is, I agree, as I've stated, sees very little play. I haven't seen this card at all. One of its major downside is it has to survive a whole turn before it can generate. Yup. Actually, for that, I think I would have actually maybe buffed it to a 4/6. I don't, I think it's going to, that's a major increase from a 4/4 to a 4/5. But I still don't think it's going to be played because there's still plenty of removal cards that can target it. But I think this should be, Duke Vandam Dren should be a 3/6. It's got the Hive Defender stats and a very powerful effect that requires a turn of setup. And you can easily get, I believe I drew a 6 cost by playing a 0 cost spell. So this card, yeah, I think that's what it should be. A 3/6 sounds about right. The increased health will allow it to survive Lightning Bolt and make it a bit harder for other creatures to trade into, thus increasing the consistency of the card. Soul Summon. Oh, this is just Soul Summon copies of it. We'll be able to Soul Trap for their value for 2 whole weeks. This card is not included in that because it's getting a buff. So yeah, that's kind of it. While I agree that this definitely needs to be buffed, I'm not sure if doing the buff that way is going to matter. It's still weak to quite a few cards, including hard removal and just 2 creatures. Ironically, still weak. Ironically, it's weak to. Yeah, never mind. I don't know where I was going with that tangent. Just to recap, questionable buff. I agreed with that nerf. I agreed with that nerf. Drain Vitality, also agreed with. I'm not gonna pull it up though. Tilvos Magister, I kinda don't agree with it, but we'll have to see how it plays out afterwards. Shoot, what was the other ones? Oh, Ulfric's Uprising. Yeah. Don't really care about it. Ulfric's Uprising is the one card in this list I don't really care for. But that is all of the nerfs slash buffs that is coming up. These were announced today, so for once I'm actually on time with this. Further ado, let's queue up more Magicka, go into the ladder. I've been trying to get into rank 8. I came close and then lost. I believe I'm either 2 or 1 win away, 2 wins or a single win away from climbing into the 8th rank. It's looking a little grim for getting all the way to 5 this time around, but we might be able to do it if I'm lucky. What was this one again? I forget what that title was. I'll have to go look that up when we're done. Maybe that's another one. Actually, I think I may already have this title. Anyways, Soviet Green, playing Sorcerer. He is the Ingenious, and I have no idea what you do to earn that. I'll hold off a turn. Got our good old puzzle box in hand.
I slay the unworthy.
Good. I believe you are the unworthy.
They've no move we can't anticipate.
I think I'm gonna take the action there. I want Ancano in the grave. I still think we need some more cards that interact with the discard pile. What are you playing there?
Should have been more work.
That's fine. Perfect.
That was a mistake.
Why was that a mistake?
By the 8th, they will meet their maker.
This is a card I wish would get nerfed. I don't
Just
like
give me a name.
This is... I be granted it's a legend, but it is still a powerful legend. That I wish just got nerfed. Just nerf it, please. I don't like it at all. But it's in the game, so I can't really complain about it. Ooh, nice one.
Sheol hate you.
And here's where I chuck up the Thor. Ooh, played the Distillerer. Yeah, I'm gonna go Thorn Hiss Mage.
The Hist provides.
Then see if we can chuck up Distiller in here and Puzzle Box next turn. Ideally, he goes trades it to this guy, and I can kill him and get a contract. That's unfortunate. Now he's been trading. Now he trades with that guy. No, he doesn't. Soul Tear, excellent. Gonna lightning bolt that.
It's nothing personal.
Oh, that was a bad one. Oh dear. That was a bad one.
Perhaps we can help one another.
He'll be done soon.
Sheol.
I need a prophecy. Scalen, I am probably gonna play both of them. Fabricate. That's fine.
I will keep Sothasil's people alive.
Send Parthenax into the deck.
The Hist heals and rejuvenates.
So, I imagine he's going to tome up here, trade, and then go face. Either that, he's just going to go all face. That wouldn't surprise me either. So far, oh, now he's trading.
Sheol take.
And does he care? He's going to trade here, and go face. Well, we've lost this game.
Sorry it had to come to this.
Or not. Just gonna do that again. Okay. Let's see here. Venom Tongue. Fine. Tree minder,
The
that'll help.
waters of
We'll
life.
stand together.
Let's see here. I'll take the gain health. Use it. How am I going to win this? I don't know, actually. Trade's there. Spect. Yep, that there. Ward's going here. Ward guy's going here, and you're going here to prevent me from killing that off. Or you have a card from hand that's going to take care of that.
Careful there, friend.
Yep. And another tome. Oh my. This is getting a little...
Shall take you.
Yeah, I'm just gonna win now.
Sorry it had to come to this.
The
Well,
battle is yours.
I tried. Not really built for a ward sorcerer. And now I am 3 wins away. Perfect. Well, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and run one more. I know I said I was only going to run one, but spent a lot longer talking about this the game and what's going on with it rather than actually playing it. So let's queue up for one more, playing against an assassin. Got my attempt of a control deck. And gonna toss both of you. Hopefully for some low. I didn't want to see you again, but I do like seeing a second gatekeeper. I also like the premium art for this. I just kind of wish it got the Leaf Lurker treatment and also had a different line of dialogue for it. Really wish that was the case. Oh, hello, Gentleman Jim. Good to see you too.
Luck to your house.
Well met, marsh friend.
Okay, no turn, please. Okay, that's good. Slaneth, this is not the time to come out, guys. I don't want the high cost. I need the low cost cards now.
My friend would like to say hello.
Which friend you pulled out? Oh my, all 3 of them.
Close ranks, let nothing through.
All 3 gatekeepers just said, "Hey, what's up, guys? We're gonna come here and party." And I got the Spear of Ambers. Okay, yeah. That was interesting. Let's see what our opponent's got next. Cunning ally, please don't.
Let's
no.
do this.
Yes. Gamble failed.
Close ranks, let nothing through. Honor and blood.
I'm gonna buff up my guy. So I wonder what iteration of assassin he's playing. Could it be... It better not be just the one you get off the campaign. Because I'm gonna be embarrassed if I lose to this. I mean, I got a lot of high cost cards in my hand, so it's possible, although we're getting to that point in the game. And I have been doing a bad job of introducing my
Your
opponents.
destruction is at hand.
Tusuk the Victorious. Do I go for the gamble? I don't think I do.
Honor and blood. Close ranks, let nothing through.
I'm gonna do that. He might have a Cruel Fire Bloom in hand, which gives him some extra value. But I'm hoping to be able to...
Die, Outlander!
Yes! That was the best. That was the best outcome for me there. I want to Spear of Embers up her so that I'll have something for Ascended Sleeper next turn. Or I can just play Ascended Sleeper. And then either have the choice to buff it up or play Gentleman Jim Stacy. Eldritch Matron. Okay. Alright, what else do you got? What you got in that hand of yours? He's debating. Moment of Clarity. Okay, interesting pick to put an assassin, but I am not against it. Hopefully he got a bad card from that. Let's just Ascended Sleeper.
This is but a dream waking over and over.
Do I attack? I'm gonna say yes.
Honor and blood!
Next turn I can Gentleman Jib, Spear of Embers. I got a couple options to get our Ascended Sleeper to the point where it'll start decreasing value. I mean increasing value by decreasing card cost. You guys know what I mean. I know everything about this game. Yes, yeah. He is seriously debating what he wants to play. I want to play this guy. No, I want to play this card. No, I want to play this card. No, not this. Yes, this card. No, not this card. Surprisingly enough, he hasn't used his ring, which, while I could see some strategic purposes in that, I'm not entirely sure if this guy's an experienced player. Ooh, a Frost Atronach.
We will seize our own fate.
Oh, I take that back. He's played the Dark Brotherhood. Let us spear and lockpick. And fail again.
You understand nothing.
Ooh, Hand of Dagoth. So, I gotta get rid of you. When do you get Blood Sorcerer? I think you get her within the first couple of missions. You could trade, or not trade. You can attack face. I'm gonna get rid of you this turn, though. Shame you got rid of my sleeper. Kind of wanted to keep that for a couple turns, and then we'll see if we can lockpick ourselves. Oh, he played it. He used the ring. He's not attacking. Nice. Invite skilled and lockpick. Woo! I actually got something from that. Granted, it didn't get the full power, but a firebolt in an instance I need it. That's okay. And I can Laneth. I got Dagoth in this deck. I can Laneth out Dagoth if I really want to, and I think I want to do that. Woohoo! This is awesome. He got a chicken. Oh my! That has got to be the worst. Oh no! That is so unfortunate.
This one is justice.
There's always a way, and I can always find it.
Oh my! Your luck has got to be bad in order to get that card. Dagoth, come out, please. I haven't seen you in a long time. It's very good to see you, my friend. Very good to see you. Just make sure to smile for the camera. Alright, now that we got that moment of I can't believe this happened over. Let's actually play the game. All right, come on, let's play. Ooh, nicely done.
Nicely done.
Well played.
We'll stand together.
My hat's off to you.
Thank you.
Let's see what I get. Perfect timing.
This should be fascinating.
I think I just Dagoth here.
Have you come to submit or come to die?
I want to set him up for a kill. Now that I got Dagoth in hand, I need to get it. I need to weaken him a little bit more. Also, I could have played him here. I don't have anything that can get rid of this. Not readily available. If I had Laneth in hand, I would probably play her to get a Ice Storm, so I could deal with that side of the board. But I can't. No.
Let's shed some light on the problem.
Well, I guess he had to get that at some point. Just play. I kind of love just to play something big so I can Spirit Knife
They'll
it.
never outsmart me.
Ooh, not you. Oh, prophecy!
I am
And a
ready
good
to
one,
join
too.
the circle.
Trade, attack. Gentleman Jim, prepare for... No, I gotta Spirit Knife that card. Gotta get rid of that Hex Mage. Oh boy. This could be a problem.
Protect me.
Red Year.
Talos, protect me. Talos, protect me.
I think I've got a Red Year instead. Good answer! And our hand of Dagoth is well protected from the Red Year. Fitting because
Nicely
he
done.
looks like he's in a volcano. Alright. One more punch with Hand of Dagoth, and Dagother will come in and finish the job. If not, then we'll just continue the game. False Incarnate, Spirit Knife. Or False Incarnate, Gentleman Jim, depending on what he plays. It's your best play. I don't think you have 17 damage worth of cards in your hand.
Elements, I summon thee.
And I win! Not without getting a little extra crispy.
By the egg, a fine battle.
Thank you, Lana. Your
This
service
is a
was
worthy
awesome.
contest. Come to me. Through fire and war, I welcome
Thank you, Dagother. It was good to see you again. Good to see the Finnish Master. Well, one of the Finnish Masters. Tazcat is another Finnish Master. And that is going to do it for today, ladies and gentlemen. For those who have made it through a nerf/buff review and 2 games, thank you for tuning in. Hit that like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you really enjoyed, turn on notifications so you know whenever I upload something, leave a comment if you feel like it, and as always, share this video with just anybody you know that thinks that would like this content. Next time we're gonna be getting back to the I'm gonna hopefully be in rank 8 and laddering heavy, but until then, as always, enjoy your day, ladies and gentlemen.